And it is time for the Freedom Through Crypto live stream here with me on this beautiful June 26th of 2025. Let's see what we have today. This is not a drill. Your crypto bags might just buy you a house. Yes, a house. Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac are officially allowing Bitcoin and other crypto holdings to be factored into mortgage applications. How do we like that? Put your comments in the chat. Let me know if that sounds exciting to you. This is especially bullish for long-term Bitcoin holders like myself, because not only does it validate their net worth, it potentially accelerates crypto integration into mainstream finance. I very much think it does. Your inclusion of the living versus investing calculator is brilliant. Oh, wait. Where do I go? Oh, yeah, here we go. So what does it really mean for you? In today's stream, I'm diving deep into this directive, what it signals for the future of crypto and traditional finance, and how it could impact your ability to invest smarter. And then I'm going to show you something I've been working on behind the scenes, as so often. My personal living versus investing calculator to help you make razor sharp financial decisions. Let's get into it. Now, of course, I also have to tell you, you know it by now, even though I'm helping you make financial decisions, this is not financial advice. Not financial advice at all. I am not qualified to give you that, but I am free to tell you what I do with my own life, right? Let me see some comments, please. Let me see where you are tuning in from. I don't like to be alone on this stream because I'm doing it for you. I have a few good topics prepared for you today. We're going to talk about Bitcoin and real estate, which is very timely because I am meeting up with some real estate investors, some real estate investors tomorrow. So I'm really happy that this news came out. But first, let me show you this, and then you can tell me what you think about it. So we have this X post, and it says that the median monthly rent for a 2-bedroom apartment in New York City has increased 17.5% over the past year to a record $5,560. That is the median monthly rent for a 2-bedroom apartment in New York City. Wow. $5,560? Wow. Do people actually realize what they can do with that kind of money if they invested it? Well, in case you didn't know, you will find out today, because I will present to you my living/investing Bitcoin calculator. So let's see what happened here. New York City just banned broker fees on tenants. Landlords are already jacking up rents. Yeah, this shows the real behavior of humans versus the desired behavior when policymakers do new things. Doesn't always work out like that, right? Yeah, it's sad, but that's the case. Yeah, Lou, that is crazy increase, right? It just shows that humans are driven to benefit and increase their profits. I can't really blame them for it, to be quite honest. I can't really blame them for it. Everybody has a right to make the best decisions for themselves and their investments. And most real estate investors, they invest in real estate to make a profit, right? So I can't blame them for it. But here is what I think. I actually wrote it very beautifully on my Instagram this morning. Let me find the post for you, and then I can tell you what I think about that. I'm going to share my screen with you. So, wait, here we go. Wait, why can't you see it? There we go. Okay. So here's the post. Tell me what you think, specifically this slide. The best investment opportunities are kept behind closed doors. Only so-called accredited investors get access to the good investment opportunities. That means the people who are already rich keep getting richer. Everyone else is left out. DeFi changes the rules. DeFi standing for decentralized finance. No gatekeepers, no permissions, just open access to high yield opportunities for anyone who wants it. So that is what I'm going to, that's what I believe. That is what I'm going to show you today. I think the starting slide of this carousel was the traditional investor gets about 8% APR, and the DeFi investor, she gets between 80 and 140% APR easily. And if you don't know how to do that for yourself, you're in luck, because I have a landing page here. The address is blended in underneath me, crypto.lifestyle. You go there and you'll be taught everything. I also happen to have a live masterclass class coming up on July 5th, where you and I can be in a Zoom call, and I'll show you how that works. So let's get back to real estate for a moment. I showed you this image, right, where landlords are essentially increasing the rent because now the broker fee was banned. But did you know, of course, one of the best investments for yourself, and also if you want to be a landlord, is buying a piece of real estate. Now, to be quite honest with you, I'm not interested in that personally. I think Bitcoin in itself is what I would want to invest in. And to me, that's the perfect replacement for real estate. But I also know not everybody has the same opinion. So that is why I want to show you that something big has happened. A big announcement yesterday. You can actually now use your crypto as collateral for a home loan application. So let's go through that, see what happened here. So Bitcoin is now accepted, and let me know if you think that is cool, by the way. Bitcoin is now accepted for home loans. No more selling crypto to buy a house. In a groundbreaking shift, Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac will now count your cryptocurrency holdings when applying for mortgages. And that is really, really powerful. Let me know in the chat if you think that is powerful, and if you maybe even would consider doing so. The game-changing policy shift. So the FHFA housing director, or the federal, I don't know what FHFA stands for, but that director of that governmental administration just signed an order requiring the mortgage giants Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac to recognize cryptocurrency as a valid asset on mortgage applications. So before we had this policy change, you would have to convert your crypto to cash. Of course, that is maybe something you wouldn't want to do, right? Because you want to hold on to your crypto because you believe that it will increase in value over time. Now, after this change, your Bitcoin wallet counts directly toward your mortgage application. I think that is absolutely brilliant. Andrea thinks so too. So let's see what else. Who benefits from this change? Well, of course, crypto holders. They can keep their Bitcoin investments intact while still qualifying for home loans. And that is absolutely brilliant because there is an approach that I really love, which is the infinite Bitcoin loop approach, where you really never sell your Bitcoin anymore. And that could be very beneficial for you because, as you also may know, very, very smart, by the way, when you take out a loan in most countries, you don't have to pay tax, right? So selling your Bitcoin is a taxable event, but borrowing against it or using it as collateral to apply for a mortgage is not a taxable event. So for the housing market, that could be very good. Millions of new potential buyers entering the market who were previously excluded. And then, of course, in economy-wise and crypto adoption-wise, a major step toward mainstream cryptocurrency adoption and legitimacy. Yeah, I mean, imagine you now have Bitcoin that is officially accepted by the major, most biggest lenders in the US. I mean, what other adoption and legitimacy could we ask for, right? Which is actually why I'm going to let you in on a little secret. I actually believe that, and I'm making this very bold prediction here. I realize that. I actually believe that Bitcoin will never correct more than 20% anymore. And you might ask, well, why would that be the case? Because most people, they predict a drawdown back to 65-ish, $70,000. I think that what has happened recently has ingrained Bitcoin in the future makeup of the world's economy, that the behavior is absolutely not comparable to how it has behaved so far. So it will not correct to the downside anymore in these brutal ways. Instead, what it will do, it will see absolutely insane adoption of institutional investors and of countries and of whales, of high net individuals. This is my prediction. I may be wrong, but I think I'm not. So let's take a look actually at the Bitcoin chart. And I think we should look at this specific chart many, many times. And I will tell you why. This is the black color, shows you the price evolution of Bitcoin here on the left-hand side. We are in June of 2023. And then on the right-hand side, well, here is where we are now as at the time of the recording. And then here is the green line is essentially what we call M2, meaning all the liquid assets in checking accounts in the world combined. And as you can see, ever since starting January of 2024, there is an eerie overlap between the curve of M2 and the price of Bitcoin. Translated by 105 days. Translated by 105 days. Translated meaning shifted. That gives us a way to look into the future. And it's absolutely crazy when you look here at what has happened recently. We've seen this drop here And that drop was, of course, caused by the scare that we had with the war in the Middle East. But look how crazy is this. This drop was even in the M2 index. So it makes you ask, is this all manufactured or not? Because again, this, I want you to understand what I'm doing here with that translation. And maybe I'll show you here. When you go to this indicator called the M2 Global Liquidity Index, I have a settings wheel here. And then I need to come here into inputs and put in the time offset. And it's 95 days, not 105 days, as I said earlier. So if I remove that offset, look what happens, right? This would be both both graphs on the same timeline. But if I put that offset back, essentially 95 days, we can see 3 months into the future, right? Do you see how this works? So now, if this if this indicator of predicting the future Bitcoin price is valid, that would then mean that somewhere, somehow, in September, by the end of September, according to this, Bitcoin will hit more or less $150,000. And if this is accurate, then it makes absolutely no sense to sell your Bitcoin now. As a matter of fact, it would make sense to acquire more. So let me know in the chat if this is surprising to you and if this is something that is just interesting. Because we're actually about to go to the next part of this live stream, and that is where I will show you the Bitcoin living and investing calculator. And I'll tell you, I have spent hours and hours and hours working on this calculator, making it so that it's dynamic and works in real time. So what I need, the very least I need from you right now is a like or a share or a subscribe. And I need you to type in calculator in the comments. So because I'm really sharing hours and hours of work, probably weeks of work with you, and it will open up your eyes to what is possible. Now, again, this is not financial advice. I have to kind of blend this in for you. This is not financial advice, but it's definitely something that is possible and is something also I am doing in my life. Because remember, I don't talk about anything that I'm not actually living myself. So if you're excited for this, let me know in the chat. Also, ask your questions, please, if you have any. That is definitely something I can offer you is answer your questions, right? So here it is. Wait, yeah, here, no, there it is. So this is the Bitcoin leverage / investing calculator. And let's say, for example, you have $100,000 to put into Bitcoin. Instead of now waiting for Bitcoin to increase in value, which it does anyway, what would happen if you took out a loan against your Bitcoin? And most of these platforms, they actually let you borrow up to 75% of your value, right? When you hit the 75%, you would get liquidated. For that reason, we're going to only borrow up to 40% loan to value so that we are super safe. Now, of course, the loan will cost us something. And the specific platform where I would do this is actually, it costs about 5% APR to take out that loan. Now, I will tell you, though, that you pay 5% APR here, but I know, well, I actually do this every day where I invest in DeFi and I get 0.33% daily yield on average. That's about $132. So that's actually very achievable, right? And then in my calculator here, what I also do is I say, let's assume I need $3,000 to live every month. Let's also assume that Bitcoin's growth rate is 25% per year. Very, very conservative, by the way. And then we will build in a Bitcoin drawdown buffer of 35%. What does that do over the next 12 months to us? So why 35%? Well, because we don't want to get liquidated when we borrow against our Bitcoin, right? So let's see what that gives us. What are the results? Okay. So here on the right-hand side, it would mean that we would have $40,000 borrowed, and our Bitcoin right now, $100,000 gives you more or less one Bitcoin, right? So our Bitcoin remains in our possession, but it is used as collateral to borrow $40,000. So essentially, you turn $100,000 into $140,000, right? And this gives you a monthly yield of $4,000. If you invest the $40,000, you get a monthly yield of $4,000. Your monthly loan cost will be 162, and your monthly living expenses that you entered into the Bitcoin calculator are 3,000, which gives you a monthly surplus of $833. How nice is that? So what I am doing with that additional surplus here, of course, I reinvested into Bitcoin to keep that loop going, right? So over 12 months, we then have a total dollar cost averaging investment of about $10,000. And with our compound annual growth rate of very, very modest, by the way, of 25%, that would give us a projected value of $11,229. That is, of course, this as a pure gain. But remember, you actually still hold the Bitcoin. So that is gain. That's pure gain. And then in this nice calculator here, I have made sure to include some important visualizations here. What is the dollar cost averaging accumulation over time? The green part, of course, being the part that is financial gain, the orange part being your investment. So you still have that, of course, you own it. Now, this here is an important part of this calculator as well, the liquidation risk tracking with buffer. So again, essentially the red part here would get you liquidated if you got into this area. The orange or yellow area is a buffer zone, and then the green area is the safe zone. Okay, so you can see with this simulation here, you would actually never get even into the buffer zone, which is very important. So let's see again here what that means. You have $100,000 which you would invest right away into Bitcoin right now. Then you would take out a loan of 40% loan to value, meaning $40,000. You would use that $40,000 to invest into DeFi strategies that give you a 0.33% daily yield. And now you can basically live off of that investment and have a monthly surplus to keep investing. Now, I know, first of all, put your reactions in the chat. I want to know what you think about this, because I think I know what you're thinking. I think you're like, you're full of shit. This is absolutely not going to happen. Where on earth can you get 120% APR investment? Which would be, what you're talking about, 0.33% daily. Well, must I remind you of what I said earlier? This is absolutely possible in DeFi. And here's the good thing. You don't just have to take my word for it. I'm actually living it. I am living proof of this being possible. And if you want to know, you're like, first of all, show me proof. No problem. I'll show you. We'll actually claim that daily yield that I'm referencing here is literally daily yield. So we'll claim it here together, you and I on this stream. But I also have something that's even better. I have, if I'm just blending it in right now, my landing page. If you go to crypto.lifestyle right now, you enter your name. I'll send you a free 4-part video series that takes you through how I have replaced a 6-figure income as an entrepreneur, now being someone who lives the crypto lifestyle. And the crypto lifestyle is pretty damn cool, if I may say so, because it allows you to travel a lot. For example, next week, Andrea and I will be in Barcelona. So if you are located in Barcelona and you want to talk some real crypto, some serious crypto, let me know. Then I believe let's see, then we come back and we plan some nice downtime at the coast here, the Gulf Coast. And then we also plan to spend some time in the UK in October. And then in December, my dear friends, Andrea and I will probably spend the entire month of December in Asia, starting in Bali, working ourselves up to Vietnam, maybe also Bhutan, and then we'll just enjoy life and let people know how they can do that as well. Now, what do we have here? Thoughts on CRO, okay, and blessings from John. CRO, I have to admit, I don't know what that stands for right now, but I'll look it up and I'll let you know tomorrow. Okay, CRO could be so many things. Thank you, John. John 3:16. I must say I'm not very religious, John, but I'm sure there's lots of viewers who can relate to what you're sharing. So let me see. Oh yeah, I wanted to claim my daily yield together with you. Let's do that now, just so you can see. I am not telling you nonsense here. I'm living this. This is very important for me. So we're going to claim the daily yield together. This is one of the platforms that I use for that. And you can see here, first of all, you can see here, it says daily, I can claim $300. And then here is the interface, claimable funds. Here's the interface where I click that claim button, and then the money shows up in my wallet. Okay, so I'm clicking the claim button now. On the right hand side, I have to actually confirm the transaction, which you can't see now because I'm not sharing everything like that, but I actually show you on camera. Let me take my camera. Okay, so here is my computer screen, and then I click the claim button. Now on the right hand side here, I have a pop-up that I have to approve. I have to electronically sign this, and then pay attention on the screen to what happens to the 287, drops to 0, right? Where does that money go? Straight into my self-custody wallet. Imagine doing that every single day. That is pretty powerful, right? So this strategy here alone, as you have just seen, already gives me a $9,000 a month income, which is absolutely powerful. What would you do with $9,000 monthly just by applying this strategy? It's powerful, isn't it? Put your questions and comments in the chat, please. So it's again, What my prediction is that Bitcoin will not correct to 65 or even 70,000 anymore. I think the world is about to change so drastically, economically speaking, that nobody can even fathom how powerful this asset will be. I think that there's going to be a massive run, a frenzy of FOMO, fear of missing out, for this asset that allows people to be part of the wealth transfer. That's what I think. Now, I know it's a bold statement, but I think I'm absolutely right. Okay, so now I base these things on knowledge, such as the book here, Principles of Economics by Saifuddin Amus. I think that's how I pronounce his name. He also wrote the Bitcoin Standard. So these are things that I read to base my teachings on so that you can benefit from them. Put your questions in the chat. If there are no other questions, I'll actually end us with showing you some artwork around Bitcoin. I actually looked at 3 pieces of artwork around Bitcoin, and we'll also hear a song, just so we can kind of slowly ease out of this presentation. And also because I want you to have time while I play the music and while I'll show you this artwork, I want you to still put your questions in the chat if you have any. All right? Is that a deal? Good. Beautiful Bitcoin earrings, by the way. Andrea has some too. I think Andrea was jealous this morning when I posted this picture. Because yes, Andrea, it looks better on you. That's true, yours are actually cuter. Let's compare them to yours. Let me find the picture. So here you see Andrea with her Bitcoin earrings, and of course I'm wearing my Bitcoin necklace as well. Don't forget, folks, this is for you to type in questions in the chat if you have any. And there she is, the lady who discovered the magical Bitcoin. I don't see any other questions, which is totally fine. I know that I am just very, 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 very good at explaining to you why I think that Bitcoin is the asset for the future for you to be part of the wealth transfer. The biggest news today that basically was the headline of my show was that you can now use your Bitcoin and your crypto to count towards a mortgage application, which is huge because you now have an investment that is basically growing at infinitum, and you can use that investment to also invest in what a lot of you love as one of the best and smartest investments, real estate, which I am not on the same page in that regard. I put Bitcoin above real estate, but I know a lot of you don't, which is fine. Now you can have both worlds, right? And you just, it's absolutely crazy because again, when you take out a mortgage in most countries, that income is not income. It doesn't count against your tax burden. On the contrary, your loan payments are deductible depending on how you set yourself up, right? So win, 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 win over win. I think all of this is only possible because the powers that be, the government, and whoever has the power to set the stage, the world stage, they want this now. They want this wealth transfer to happen. Now, the thing is, they realize that it is happening. They know that it is happening. So that's why they are very, very diligently dollar cost averaging into Bitcoin. They are not letting themselves be shaken out of this amazing situation. So you need to be smart enough to realize that this is a one in a lifetime opportunity to be part of something where you could set up the stage to create generational wealth that you can pass on to your children and your children's children, or whoever you desire to have that in their lives, right? And I will definitely not stop talking about it because I could actually care less about whether you actually get this or not. I could just travel the world with Andrea, which we're doing anyway. But something deep inside of me wants you to have access to this first ever realist money out there, the money that is incorruptible, the money that is programmable, the money that cannot be inflated. It is really a stab at freedom in every sense of the way. And I want you to have that. All right. I'll see you tomorrow in the same. No, actually, tomorrow I will go be in Austin to talk to the real estate investors. So you might not see me tomorrow, but most likely on Saturday. For now, thank you for having invested time in your crypto education. And if you have found this helpful in any form or fashion, please like, share, subscribe, and I'll see you on Saturday on this platform. Bye bye for now.